Do you know who you are other than what people call you? So people are calling you different names. But what does heaven call you? Are you responding to the names that people are calling you? Or do you respond to the name that you call yourself? Or you respond beyond to that other level and respond to what heaven calls you? Because the me inside us, that is going to do exploits. It's the only me that will do that is the me that is God revealed. And that's why Daniel says, the people that know their God, they will do exploits. Peter was running because he hadn't really identified who he was. Peter was frustrated because he was doing what he thought he was best doing, which is a fisherman. Maybe, I don't know Peter's history. Maybe Peter's father was a fisherman. Maybe Peter is a lawyer. Maybe you are a lawyer because everybody in your home is a lawyer. Maybe you and I are janitors because we feel like that's the only thing we can do. Oftentimes I talk to people in their job place that haven't gone up the ladder. And they're like, well, I'm talking to somebody that I can see is so bright. And they maybe, and not to say this is beneath me or it's low or anything, but maybe they're CNA. And I'm like, why aren't you going up? Well, I don't know, I'm too old, I'm too this. I'm like, no, you're not too old. Do you know how old Caleb was? And he said, I can still do, like I'm 80 years old, but I can still do what it needs to be done at 40. Every 5 years or so, you have to ask yourself, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's how you're raising your children, whether it's the job that you're in, every 5 years, at least every 5 years, you have to ask yourself, how have I grown? How have I grown in this marriage? How have I grown as a daughter? How have I grown? Even in a friendship relationship, you have to ask yourself, you and your best friend, how have you grown together? Are you challenging each other to another level? If we are not growing and we're stagnant, we become like a reservoir. What happens if the reservoir is with water is stuck for so long? It begins to stink. We begin to, every so often, you have to challenge yourself for growth. Challenge yourself for growth. If you work for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, you have to ask yourself, how am I taking my business to the next level in the next 5 years? What am I doing different? What have I done different in the last 10 years? And then if you ask yourself and you discover that you haven't done anything magnificent in the last 5-10 years, ask yourself, what is holding me back? What is keeping me stagnant? Because let me tell you something, the you inside that God put here is not supposed to be stagnant. That's why he says, I take you from glory to glory. From glory to glory means a level up. When God showed up to Adam and Eve, and God said, what have you done? They said, I'm hiding because I'm afraid. God says, why are you afraid? Oh, I'm hiding because I'm naked. And God says, who told you? So the things that we're like, oh, I can't. Who told you you can't? Because when I look at the manual that he's given us here on earth, the Bible, he says, you can do all things through Christ who gives you the strength. Somebody please give me the definition of all. He says, I can do all things. Not things that are familiar to me, not things that are comfortable for me, not things that I've already learned about, not things that I've gone to school for. Through Christ, I can do all things.